Hey guys, it's Cayley. I'm back with another what sold from last week video. Every single week I come on and share my sales that sold from me on eBay and Poshmark. Those are my two main platforms. I just love tracking my sales every single week to see if what I'm doing is working or maybe not working and where to pivot. My current initiatives are increasing my average sale price, and so far so good. I have been doing a great job of that. Myself and my team have been working as we are sourcing to focus on only getting those high sell-through rate items or items with a higher average selling price. We're also moving into Q4, so sales naturally have started to increase, so lots of good things in the works, and I'm excited to see where it goes. All right, so all of the sales that we're going to go over today happen between September 24th through the 30th. That is a Sunday through a Saturday. I am slightly behind. I really should be filming the following week, this week, but we are catching up, so doing it week by week. I don't want to miss a week. So doing some tracking here, I sold 252 items between the two platforms. I sold 118 on eBay and 134 on Poshmark. We did run a closet clear out. Nope, that's the next week. See, I'm getting confused because I'm behind. That is the next what sold video that we had a closet clear out on. So actually pretty good sales week for Poshmark despite not having a closet clear out, and you can see that my average sale price continues to go up. We were hovering around $28. We are now almost to $30, and I am confident that that is going to continue to go up because week after week we continue selling higher dollar items. So total gross item sales was $7,473.01, making an average sale price of $29.65. So very happy with that. And yeah, let's dive into some of these sales. I'm going to try to go kind of quickly. A lot of them are things that are doing pretty well for fall and winter and stuff that I will be on the hunt for. So this first one is a skirt. I used to hate picking up skirts, but lately the midi to maxi length skirts, I've started to learn what does well on them and I enjoy picking them up. This is a brand that I just learned about this past year. It is Nelly Low Tan, kind of hard to see on the black on black, but really solid brand. And just about anything that you could get. I was lucky enough to receive this in wholesale new with tags. It is a linen AV button front skirt. And I have noticed that like full button skirts seem to add a lot of value. So if you've got a full button skirt, make sure to put it in your title because that is really going to help to sell the item. So this is obviously a designer brand that is new with tags, so it's going to go for more, and it sold very quickly. It only took a couple of weeks to sell, and it went for my full asking price of around $140. Crazy good return on investment, but honestly just a really good style in a skirt as well that you could, I guess, try to memorize and find the style in some other brands. Maybe do some factor stacking. Next up is a brand that makes men's, women's, and kids, and surprisingly the kids stuff does really awesome as well. So I've been keeping my eye out for this in the kids section as well, but this is a men's terry drawstring short. It's Aviator Nation. To be honest with you guys, some of these pieces, like if I didn't know to look for this style, I would probably pass on them, just because their stuff, you know, even though it is like thick, at first glance does not appear super high quality. So really keep your eye out for it. They make a lot of like sweatshirt type material stuff. They have some t-shirts and things like that, but sold a couple pieces this week from them. These pre-owned with a couple of holes terry shorts went for my full asking price of $85. If that doesn't tell you how much value is in this brand, I don't know what will. But definitely certain pieces in this brand can go for more, even with flaws. I would pick up just about anything in this brand. Next up is another Aviator Nation. This one is a men's thermal t-shirt. See guys, like it just doesn't look that outstanding. This looks like something I could probably get at like Hot Topic or Spencer's, but you got to look for it. You got to look for the little logos and know which brands perform really well. And this one also sold for full asking price, $75 for this men's pre-owned thermal shirt. So Aviator Nation is definitely one I would keep my eye out for. And like I said, I am on the hunt in the kids section now. I feel like a lot of resellers know about this brand, so in the adult section, it's going to get swept away. But kids section, you might have some better luck snatching a piece up. I've sold some kids items for $50 pre-owned, so they have a lot of value as well. Next up is another skirt. Hopefully you guys are starting to see a theme. I do think that skirts are going to be kind of popular during fall, surprisingly. Obviously midi to maxi length. And this is something that I've talked about quite a bit, which is like niche kind of vintage or Y2K goth brands. This one is Lip Service, which you guys want to memorize this tag because it is a really good one to look for. And this is just a red and black kind of goth witchy vibe skirt. And so we listed this pretty high because comps looked really good. I listed it at $75 and I sent out offers to watchers. This one sold the same week I got it listed. It might have even sold a couple days after being listed for an offer to watcher of $63.65. Crazy insane. So keep your eye out for some of these really niche goth brands. A lot of resellers just pass on this stuff, but there are a lot of them out there. And yeah, if you touch them, they feel like super cheap quality because they are, but they're nostalgic pieces that people look for. So keep your eye out for those. Next up is a brand I think everybody knows about, but just happy to have the sale. I've been finding a lot more Johnny Was pieces lately now that I'm, actually looking for them. And sometimes all it takes is like feeling it and having the fabric in your hand, and then you know what to look for. And you're just like, it's easier to spot out in the wild. So I think that's what's happening with me because I never used to find it, and now all of a sudden I'm finding it really often. So this is a Johnny Was Workshop, which is one of their lines. Smica Paris tunic top. Obviously embroidery is going to add a lot of value here. Listed it for $95 or best offer. I accepted an offer of $70 on this one. All right, another style I've noticed is pretty popular right now are more, I guess I'll call it modest looking denim pieces. So, long sleeve denim dresses like this one, or long denim skirts I've noticed are like a huge trend right now. And so I'm keeping my eye out for the styles in just about any brand. This one just happens to be a We the Free People new with tags women's dress. This is called the Hannah midi dress, but like I said, this style in particular, the long sleeve denim dresses, in just about any brand I would look up because they definitely have a following at the moment. So this one I listed for around $55. I sent offers to watchers for around $47 and someone accepted that offer. All right, here's another Free People item. I just like showing you these because I pass on 95% of Free People, but there are certain pieces that can perform well. And since most of us come across it pretty often these days, I want to make sure that I am up to date on which types of styles to look for. So the denim's definitely going to be one of them. And then anything super oversized or really grungy, this one is both. This one's a really cool oversized like long sleeve sweatshirt. It was called the Iggy pullover. If you guys find this one, I had a ton of interest on this and it sold really, really quickly. Listed this one for $50 and it did sell for my full asking price. Next up is Lululemon. I'm only showing you guys these because this style flies. It is the dance studio pants. So if you're someone who's given up on Lululemon, these pants where it looks kind of ruched all over the sides, these are the dance studio pants. They sell anywhere from like $50 to $60 and usually overnight. These ones actually took a couple of weeks to sell. They did have slight pilling on the inner thigh area. And so I listed them a little bit lower at $50. They still sold for my full asking price. So very, very desirable style in Lululemon if you guys come across them. All right, next up is kind of an interesting sale. This is British Mol Skin, which is like their line of this style of jacket by the Guideboat Company. And Right now I'm on the hunt for like thick shackets, so I'm pretty much looking up every thick shacket. And anytime a brand has a specific either fabric or style spelled out on the tag, you can bet I'm looking it up, because that is usually a good sign of a quality item. So I looked up Guidebook Co., British Mol Skin, jackets, shackets, shirts, and this one was a women's British Mol Skin button-up shirt, size extra large. I listed this for $50 and it did sell for my full asking price. So keep your eyes out for thick t-shirts, thick button-up shirts. Shacket would have been a great keyword in here, but we missed it. But, you know, great brand. It's still sold for a lot. And if you see any style or specific fabric spelled out on your tags, definitely worth looking up. Next up, and a lot of these sales are cashmere pieces. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I just wanted to show you guys how many cashmere sales that I had in brands that some of them are more well known, some of them are not. But the common denominator is cashmere. People are buying cashmere right now. So certain brands that you might not normally pick up, if they are cashmere, give them a comp. See how they're doing, because more often than not, they are going to sell for quite a bit of money and flip pretty quickly during this time of the year. So this one is called Ply Cashmere. Not a very well-known brand to me, but it was a cowl neck / turtleneck cashmere poncho sweater. Strictly looked it up because it was cashmere, even though I didn't know anything about this brand. Listed it for $50 and it did sell for our full asking price. Have some more cashmere pieces for you guys here in a second, but first, this one is a very eclectic top, and anytime I see something wacky like this, whether it's men's or women's, like all over print graphics, I almost always look it up. This one screamed like super artsy to me, and typically kind of like the niche goth brands, the niche artsy brands also perform really well. So if you think you got something kind of nichey, I guess that's the only word I can think of to describe it, definitely look it up. So this one is a vintage, I don't know how to pronounce it, Say Duo abstract top, and you can see it's got some crazy all over prints. This one actually had a pretty decent sell-through rate, and yeah, they were all going for quite a bit. This one I listed for $50 and it did sell for my full asking price. All right, next up is a style of jacket I would keep your eye out for. This style seems to be popular every single year, and they are the like trucker jackets with the fur or Sherpa collar, or sometimes like corduroy collar, but the Sherpa collars and the linings seem to be the most popular in my opinion, especially paired with the denim. So this is a JCrew women's fully lined Sherpa jacket, so denim but with the Sherpa collar, which adds a ton of value. I paid $9 for this, but I knew I'd flip it pretty quickly, and I'm glad I picked it up because it flipped literally days of listing for my full asking price of $40. And this is why I love fall and winter, because almost everything you pick up is so substantial that you're going to have a higher ASP because of it. All right, next up is a menswear brand that I love to get. It is Buck Mason. This brand has a really high sell-through rate, and depending on what you get, some pieces are more sought after than others. Like their plain t-shirts, I could usually only get like $20 to $25 for. But then pieces like this, and again, here's another example of the style name being on the tag, vintage thermal Henley, kind of a thermal top. This one we actually found new with tags, listed it for $45. It sold for our full asking price. And thermal Henleys in general is a very popular style that men are looking for right now. I've sold quite a few thermal waffle knit Henleys, so keep your eye out for those. Here's another cashmere piece. Again, I'm not going to go too much into all these cashmere pieces, but just wanted to show you the amount that we're selling. This is a JCrew ribbed cashmere sweater, slight pilling. We listed it for $45. It sold for our full asking price. Next up is an Escada top. This is a luxury brand that isn't as popular as it used to be. This used to be a huge bolo, not so much anymore. But anytime I see a designer t-shirt with like a big graphic on it, I almost always look it up. People want to wear designer to be proud of the logo and, you know, really display what they're wearing. So if you find a logo t-shirt, even in some of the like lower tier designer brands, I always find that they perform well. So this one even had a couple spots on the front. I listed it for $50. It sold for an offer to watcher of $42. Here is a newer brand to me. It is Savannah Jane. They make a lot of embroidered kind of bohemian pieces. They remind me a lot of Knuck's Rose a little bit. What I've noticed in this brand is if you can get the plus size pieces, they have a pretty high ASP. So really good sell-through rate and sell for pretty good money. This one is a 1X, 2X. Little boho top. You can see it's got tons of embroidery. Listed it for $35 and it did sell for our full asking price. Here is another skirt, you guys. Here's a midi skirt. This one is a Talbot's midi skirt and you can see it's that full button again. So many examples now of the full button skirt selling. So good indicator of a factory you should be looking for in both skirts and dresses. This one I listed for $40. It was a size 18. So that really helped to add some value and it was new with tags. Lots of factor stacking there. So like I said, I listed it for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for $34. All right, here is another cashmere piece, and this is a great example of a brand I would almost never get. It is Charter Club. I come across a lot of Charter Club, and honestly, it does feel like a nice brand. It feels pretty high quality, but the sell-through rate is just not there. However, every single year, Charter Club cashmere pieces fly off the shelf for me, and I can usually get at least $25 for them. So I pick them up all day long. These wrap sweaters and the ponchos in this brand also perform extremely well if they are 100% cashmere. This one I listed for $40. It did sell for my full asking price. Here is another cashmere piece. This is Tahari. It is a size extra large, 2-ply cashmere cardigan. There was even a small hole in the shoulder. I listed it for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for $34. Here is a dress brand that I just learned about. It's Julie Brown, and this definitely does not have a 100% sell-through rate, but the ones that were selling were going for quite a bit, so I felt confident taking a risk. Plus, it just gave me Lily Pulitzer vibes. It had a lot going for it. It was tiered, multicolor print. It was a designer brand. Like, you just can't beat that. So picked this up, listed it for $45, and it sold on an offer to watcher for around $38. Here's another dress, and this is Outdoor Voices, and I've noticed that these like all-in-one athletic dresses, meaning where they have the shorts underneath, in every single brand are performing really well. I mean, even Old Navy dresses with the shorts underneath were super popular this year. So I don't know how popular this will be since we're moving into colder weather, but I just thought I would share with you guys that this style in just about every athletic wear brand is just going wild right now. So listed this one. This was only a size small, but like I said, very popular style. I listed it for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for $34. Here's another JCrew piece, and we talked about this recently in a deep dive. It is the JCrew in collaboration with Liberty of London fabrics. So anytime you see that, definitely be on the lookout for it. Excuse me. Certain pieces definitely do better than others. This one did better because it was new with tags. But if you get like a larger size or a more rare print, there are some rare Liberty of London prints that go for like close to $100 in JCrew pre-owned. So just be on the hunt for that. And if you haven't already, go back and watch those deep dives, because we deep dive into brands that we come across all the time, and I'm going to continue to do those. Let me know if you guys like those down in the comments below and if they have helped you. So I picked this one up because it was new with tags, listed it for $40. It sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $34. Next up is another cashmere piece. This is Everlan. Everlan is definitely one you want to look for in cashmere. They perform really, really well, and depending on what you have can go for much more. I'm not trying to tell you to do this, but if I come across an Everlan cashmere sweater with holes in it, I usually still get it as long as they are small holes, and they still flip for like 25 bucks. So Everlan definitely has a following for cashmere sweaters. I listed this one for 40 bucks. It's sold on an offer to watcher for $34. Another cashmere piece. This is Sundance. Again, I'm not going to spend much time on it. I listed it for 40. It did sell for my full asking price. This next one is a Y2K find. This is the brand Fossil. And I've stopped getting Fossil. It used to be a huge bolo a few years ago, but lately I can't seem to move it. But this one caught my eye because it was a mini bag, which goes along with that Y2K trend. So if you have something small like this, mini bag is definitely a good keyword to use. And it was like a multicolor leather stripe, just super Y2K vibes. I really liked it. Listed this one for $35 and we sold it relatively quickly. Actually, I think the same week we listed it for an offer to watcher of $30. That one was super easy to list. All right, this is another kind of niche, artsy, minimalisty brand. It is Oh My Gauze. They do have vanity sizing. This was a size 1, which translated to a small medium. Listed this one for 35 bucks. It's just a very gauzy kind of tunic, login looky top. And it's sold on an offer to watcher for 30 bucks. Last one on eBay before diving onto Poshmark. This is a really good brand that I look for in plus sizes, pretty much only plus sizes. It doesn't perform good in much else. This is a 2X Susan Graver top. Not much to say about it. Had some cutout details. Listed it for $30 and it's sold on an offer to watcher for $25. On over to Poshmark, I sold this men's athletic wear pair of pants. This is one of my all-time favorite brands to find in the men's department. It is Public Rec. And most of the time tags are on the inside back middle of men's pants, or really any, women's pants as well. But this is what the middle back of the inside of the pants look like. This tag is actually on the front inside. So it's sometimes hard to figure out, but if you feel something that feels like really high quality, it's kind of athletic-y, make sure to check the front inside, because I've noticed a lot of higher end brands are moving the tag now, which, kind of makes it harder for us, but easier for us if you know about it. So this is Public Rec, and they definitely do that with their tags. These are just a pair of men's tapered leg pants. And let's see here. I sold these for 45 bucks, which is pretty good going rate for these men's pants. Next up is a brand I just learned about. It is Olaf, and this is a brand sold through Knuck, which I have another piece coming up before the end of this video that is also Knuck, but this is a brand sold through Knuck, and any kind of Knuck piece I would just pick up. I mean, it is awesome. It's kind of like how I tell you, like the menswear site Huckberry, pretty much any brand on that website pick up, kind of the same thing for this. So Knuck, extremely high sell-through rate, sells for a ton of money. This is a really pretty tiered smocked dress. Not much else to say about it. It sold for $105, and it always sells really quickly when I find this brand. Here is a designer brand. It is my first time finding this brand. It is Sync Accept, and this is their line 5A7. I don't know how to pronounce any of that, but this is a really gorgeous velvety jacket, and sell-through rate on this was actually not 100%, but when you get excited because it's like your first time finding the brand and you just can't say no, it was one of those times. So I was absolutely willing to wait and hold out for the right buyer, but surprisingly, it actually sold pretty quickly. So this one yeah, 63 bucks. I was very happy with that. It was missing its drawstring on the waist. Next up is a Brooks Brothers blazer. I've been talking about blazers a lot. This is a men's Brooks Ease wool blazer, and it is also double-breasted. I find vintage and modern blazers and Brooks Brothers perform well for me in the men's department. So this one had a lot going for it to add value. We listed it pretty high and accepted an offer of $70. Like crazy. There's so much money in blazers. I can't believe it. Next up is a brand that has a high sell-through rate I just learned about. It is Big Bud, and from what I can tell, they make some pretty plain, kind of retro looking shirts. I can't tell if this is like truly vintage or Y2K, or if it's just made to look that way and it's a modern brand. But either way, Big Bud has a really high sell-through rate. They're not going for much, but you know, worth getting if you're going to flip it really quickly. So this is just a women's crop t-shirt, size extra small. Sold this for 25 bucks on Poshmark, and everything I've listed in this brand so far has a ton of attention really quickly. This is one of my favorite bread and butter brands to get, and I love finding it in the men's department. It is Standard by James Purse. They do have vanity sizing, so a size 3 is a size large. And this is just a men's pretty plain black long sleeve t-shirt. It sold for $34 on Poshmark. This brand is known for their like minimalist basics. And yeah, they flip really quickly for me. This is one of my all-time favorite brands to find. Also has a very high sell-through rate. I pick it up in pretty much anything. I mean, I've sold pajamas, I've sold dresses, I've sold t-shirts in this brand, and they all flip so fast. So this is a packed organic men's snap button shirt. They also make women's as well. And I accepted an offer of $35 for this one. Here's another designer brand, one that I pick up in pretty much anything, and I'm just willing to wait for the right buyer. It is I think it's a 9 Bing or a Nina Bing. Either way, here's the tag. This is just a crop top, strapless crop top, and it ended up selling pretty quickly for $38. I was surprised at how quickly it sold, because typically when I get this brand, I do have to sit on it. Next up, this is a very high sell-through rate brand, Gichi. And if you find some of their vintage pieces, they perform extremely well. They can go upwards of like 75, 85 bucks. This one I think is a little bit more modern. This is the women's Original Freedom climbing joggers. They sold very quickly for $34, but pretty much anything I find in this brand I get. It does look a little unassuming, but if you know kind of the textures that they make and the look that they have, they're pretty easy to spot. All right, next up is something I am looking for in just about every brand right now. It is down puffer items. So I will get vests, I will get coats, I'll get snowsuits if they have the down fill. So this one was a Columbia, which is a brand I skip on almost all the time. It is a women's size large titanium line puffer vest, and all of those things combined, I knew that this was going to sell quickly. I think I originally listed this for $45 on Poshmark, and I accepted an offer of $36. Here is a Kate Spade bag. I don't know, I don't sell a whole lot of Kate Spade, but when I do find a Kate Spade bag, especially floral pieces, I always get it. This one did have slight wear to the insides of the handles, so we tried to display that, but otherwise was in really fantastic condition. And this is called the Eva Feet Crossbody. One of the things I really love about designer bags is you can easily Google Lens them so that you get the exact style name, like I did with this one here. And then it's pretty easy to do your comp from there, because you can look up the exact style, tell whether it's going to sell quickly or not. Most of the time when I do that, I do end up leaving most styles behind just because they're oversaturated, but this one actually did have a pretty good sell-through rate, and this one, even despite the wear, sold for $58 on Poshmark. All Right, this one is an athletic wear brand I love finding in the women's department. It is Buff Bunny, and I would try to memorize their logo here because sometimes this little logo is all you guys will have to go off of, but they have a pretty good following, really decent sell-through rate, and these pair of leggings went for $34. Here's the other Tucker Knuck piece I was talking about. So this actually is the brand label Tucker Knuck. This is a women's Blake mini dress. Super cute, sold for $75. Like I said, anything Tucker Knuck or any of their lines that they sell, I would absolutely become familiar with, learn them, and be able to find them. Next up is a pair of men's joggers. Joggers is definitely something that adds value. Like in my sales, I'm always looking for joggers. If I see any kind of jogger pants, I'm usually looking them up because this style where it tapers at the ankle adds a ton of value. This one we got new with tags. It is a brand I've never heard of, VA Riche. Jogger pants, men's size large, lots of factor stacking involved. I saw that this had a pretty decent following, and it ended up selling for $45 on Poshmark. So I was really happy with that, and I'll be on the hunt for this brand from now on. This is another blazer. This is a JCrew Regent blazer. It's always awesome when we make deep dive videos and then I'm able to show like this, how that played out in a what sold video. So I'm happy that some of these JCrew pieces are selling. To show you guys, maybe I should do a like total blazers video soon. A lot of you guys have been asking for that, but JCrew women's blazers, I've said it before, but I'll say it again, have a really good following, and depending on the style, can sell really quickly. This is the Regent blazer, which is a pretty decent blazer. This is a size 10 in black, and it sold for $50 on Poshmark. Next up is another category that I'm looking for in just about everything. They are corduroy bib dresses, and this kind of goes along with that modest looking denim trend. I just feel like these all fall under the same aesthetic, and so every single year I am looking for the corduroy overall dresses. So bonus points if it were a maxi dress, but this one's actually a mini dress. And we, I think, originally listed this for around $40, and we accepted an offer of $34, and this one sold really quickly. Another bread and butter. You guys said not to get rid of the bread and butter brands, so I am showing a few of those sales here. This is J. Jill plus size, which are bread and butter items we like to pick up specifically in plus size, and this is a waffle thermal knit top. It went for $25. And for all of you sports fans out there, I am not a sports fan. I know nothing about sports, but I'm still able to make pretty decent sales depending on how well I research an item. So this is an NFL starter men's San Francisco 49ers windbreaker. And I don't know. I know that Starter is a pretty decent brand for jerseys, which is why I looked this up. I know that the 49ers are a pretty sought after team. So I got this. It ended up selling for $40. I think I have been sitting on this for a little while, but $40 to me is good for something I don't know much about. So if you're someone that doesn't know sports, don't shy away from it. Just make sure to do your comp research. This next one is one of my new favorite men's brands to find. It is Howler Bros. They have a really good following, and depending on the piece you have, can sell for quite a bit of money. This one is a men's button-down shirt, and it sold for $45, which is crazy good for a men's shirt. I've sold their t-shirts for anywhere from like $20 all the way up to $40. So like I said, it really depends on the piece. It really depends on the print. But in general, this brand Howler Bros is very popular right now. And lastly, I'll finish with one of my all-time favorite men's brands. You guys are getting a lot of good menswear brands in this video. It is Fairty, and I pretty much pick up everything this brand. They also make women's. I get those too, but the men's is definitely the high sell-through rate category. So this is a men's featherweight flannel, and it went for $34 on Posh. Alright guys, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below. Like I said, I do these videos every single week, so if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, you'll be notified every single time these videos go live. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.